All right, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time you are watching this. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Dan Enrico, also just known as Enrico. I'm from DSM, the Director of Strategy. And I'm talking this morning with Chaz Garrity from Dial800. I wanted to pick Chaz's brain a little bit. He's somebody we've been working with for a bit now to talk about what's really a missed opportunity, a secret weapon for marketers that not a lot of people are talking about, but it's massively valuable, and that's call tracking. It's something that we've implemented for our clients a few years back at DSM, and it's provided massive amounts of value to our clients. And then each month and each quarter that goes by, I just find it being more and more valuable. But as I watch trainings and blogs and go to webinars, it's not something a lot of digital marketers are talking about, and I think that's a huge mistake and a huge missed opportunity. So I wanted to get Chaz on here. He's an expert in this to help marketers understand what they're really missing and what a tool like Dial800 can bring to the table. So Chaz, first of all, thank you for joining. You want to take a minute
Pleasure.
and introduce yourself and introduce Dial800?
Sure. So Chaz Garrity, a part of the business development team at Dial800. Easiest way to explain it is for every business, there's a truckload of data behind every single inbound phone call. What we do is we package that data in a really easy to consume format for thousands of brands and agency partners to help them make better marketing decisions.
Yeah, awesome. So what kind of data are we talking about? Because in the digital world, we're all about landing pages and websites and Google Analytics and what's the click-through rate and what's the cost per conversion. And a lot of it focuses on the form fill and, it's all about what happens on the website. What kind of data can you get from phone calls?
Sure. So there's literally hundreds of KPIs available behind each phone call. Little things like call counts, minute counts, where the call came from, cell phone versus landline, right? All those buyers and consumer statistics.
Mhm.
Um, Call tracking really cut its teeth in traditional media, so TV and radio. But to your point, the day trading of attention has shifted to digital, right? And so it's just as important to pull that business intelligence from those digital campaigns. So to your point, we're tracking calls by which landing page, paid versus organic, the keyword searched on Google. This matters because every single marketing dollar spent has an ROI, right? Call tracking is the economics tool. Understanding how those campaigns actually perform, phone calls define a true action taken as a result of that advertising effort, whether it be digital or traditional.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that really surprised me is when I, talk to clients and some prospects that are running traditional media, whether it's in a local print pub or billboards or whatever the case, and they've got a big phone number on there as a call to action, which is great, but they're not tracking it, and so I can say, is it working, right? Because at DSM, it's all about results. You invest money in a billboard, whatever, on Route 17. Did it work? And a lot of people just kind of shrug and they say, yeah, I think we got some phone calls, but you can actually like specifically track like this billboard versus that billboard and geographically where was your investment producing more ROI. And so that's one of the things, yeah, it's such critical data that makes marketing spend so much more efficient and effective, but a lot of marketers are not looking at it.
That's
Uh,
actually a key piece, Dan. I'm just going to jump in there
yeah,
because the economics tool is what allows you to better allocate your marketing spend, right? So each brand has a budget, and making sure that the ROI is as good as it can possibly be. Understanding how each and every campaign performed is going, seeing those calls come in from each and every one of those is going to help do that.
yeah. One of the things it's not so much a data benefit, but call recording has been so valuable for us. Whenever you call like your bank or you call customer service, it says, this call may be recorded for quality and training purposes, right? And you're like, yeah, okay, whatever. But for our clients, we've been able to deliver massive value just by listening to the calls because the person that picks up that phone is almost like a landing page, or it's like the first person you would greet when you come into a store. And so like that person that picks up the phone and is the first human communication with a potential customer, what are they doing on the phone? Because a lot of times the business owner or the director of marketing or whoever we're dealing with as an agency, they're not sitting there listening to the person take the calls. And so we take a few minutes every day to listen through the calls that are coming and then provide recommendations to our client and say, listen, the ad is doing great, landing page is doing well, we're getting the phone calls. You're losing them because the person that's answering isn't speaking to the company's values, or they're not answering the question well, or they're not being direct, whatever the case. We provided massive amounts of value to our clients just by saying like, hey, maybe we need to retrain the person that's answering the phone.
And what's funny about that, I'll sidebar for a second, something maybe you and I should talk about a little more, but it's 2020. We're taking that to the next level now. It's not just about call recording. Some of our clients are using artificial intelligence to actually listen to keywords said on the call. Now you have this massive reporting sheet. I got, 5,000 calls this month. I'll give you a perfect example. One of our healthcare clients right here in New Jersey, their maternity program is listening for how many people talk about water birth. And now their marketing material, because 40% of the women said something about water birth, now their marketing material is more geared towards that, right? So they're leveraging sort of next generation artificial intelligence. Instead of listening to every single phone call, here's a reporting sheet out of 5,000 calls, 40% of them said water birth.
That's huge. Wow. Yeah, especially when you have a client that can provide maybe a variety of services. Like we've got clients that have B2B and B2C customers, right? And so it's important for them to know like, okay, you got 100 calls this month. What were they about? And sometimes you can tell based on the page that they called from, which we told one of our clients that we can track that. And he was like, but how? I was like, well, you put in a code, but how? Wait, how is that even possible? I'm like, it's possible. But yet to get that keyword tracking in the phone call, what somebody actually said, again, it's like, I don't think a lot of people even realize that that's possible.
Sure. Sure. And it's actually quite easy. I mean, it's literally as simple as picking out some keywords and telling the system, hey, listen for this, and throw it on the reporting sheet. It's quite simple.
Yeah. We've got, we have a medical client here as well. We did a focus group with some of their patients. And I asked them, as you were shopping around, you were looking at different doctors and different, medical facilities. How did you want to make contact with those doctors once you found somebody that you liked? Did you want to fill out a form? And before I could even finish my question, they had this physical aversion to forms, or like, oh God, I hate forms. I don't want to fill out forms. And you think about their customer journey, their customer experience. For some folks, fill out a form, great, fine. But what the patients told us was that I'm dealing with a pretty serious medical issue. I don't want to fill out a form and wonder when somebody is going to get back to me. Like, I want to talk to a person right now. And so, while we've always sort of prioritized forms because it provides so much data, and you get all of their, information goes right into your CRM, thinking about the customer side of it, that's not what they want. And so, getting the call part in there, what we're trying to tell our clients is, listen, we need to be available wherever and however our clients want us to be available, whether that's a form fill or a live chat or a phone call, because a lot of times people just need to speak to a human.
Spot on. And to be honest, every single consumer touch by a marketer has a different place in the journey, right? There's awareness, which is your social media stuff. There's educating, which is your websites, right? The conversions, the tedious questions, right? We have financial clients that are buying municipal bonds. You're not doing that with a form fill. You have your healthcare patients. I just find out he had a tumor. He's not sending an email, right? Like there's certain times when the phone call is a necessity. You have to have it. It's not the end all be all. It plays a role in the digital or in the journey of the buyer.
Yep.
But it's a key piece to it, no question.
Yeah. Give us some use cases specifically of how your clients are using the platform and the benefits they're seeing.
Yeah, so I'll give you two ends of the spectrum, right? So there's the routing, which a lot of people don't talk about, but it's the caller's experience. We see a huge reflection in conversions based on how fast they get to the right person, right? So, as an example, we have franchise clients routing calls to hundreds of locations across the country by geography, right? So the zip code entered from the caller or the caller ID itself. Another example, we're actually making real time routing decisions with live API calls to the client's CRM. So they're dictating where calls should go in real time based on uh, data that's changing day to day. From the call tracking side of things, as I mentioned a moment ago, we have financial clients running TV commercials, see which one's making the phone ring most. We have infomercial clients that are, they have API ties into their call centers and they're actually tracking revenue by phone call. We have a clean energy provider using over 1,000 phone numbers in digital campaigns to track which one of them is setting the most appointments. Lots of different use cases out there.
Can you share some stats, just in general? We talked about making ad campaigns more efficient. We've talked anecdotally about like the call recording and some of that, but big picture, can you give us some kind of stats of what marketers, what kind of improvements and efficiencies they can see when they take advantage of something like this?
Sure. So I actually pulled some for 2019. I like getting a longer scope, right? So CPL, cost per lead, I'm sure you're aware. We saw one of our clients decrease their CPL by 51% when they added call tracking to their repertoire, right? So I think they were 2018, they were like $133 CPL cost per lead.
Mhm.
And then in 2019, they implemented call tracking and it came down to $66. That's literally 51% decrease.
Wow.
Interesting enough for Dial800, we actually attributed in 2019 over 73% of all new revenue to inbound calls. Now we're just like everybody else. We have chatbots, we have form fills, all that stuff. 73% of new rev came from inbound phone calls.
Yeah.
Another one of our clients saw a 21% increase in revenue per lead with phone calls, right? And that's because there's a major upsell opportunity when you're actually speaking to somebody,
Yeah.
right? And then another one of our clients had Google Ads forever, and in 2019 they implemented or combined it with calls as well,
Mhm.
and they actually saw a one-to-one volume, almost a one-to-one volume in the amount of leads. So they put this Google ad out there. You think digital, it's going to be a form fill or an email.
Right.
They saw 460 web forms and 423 calls, right? So almost a one-to-one volume.
Wow.
And let's be honest, the benefit there is the calls are going to produce a higher conversion rate, right? So now it becomes such a bigger aspect. They're basically doing the same thing they were doing before, except including a couple different call to actions, and
Yep.
they're getting better results.
That's huge. Yeah. Now, have you guys seen? I know you work with some very big national brands, and you work with some smaller local clients. Um, what kind of help or training or assistance do you guys give? Because for a lot of folks, this is new, right? And some are doing it at a huge scale, and some are doing it at a smaller scale. How do you kind of guide your clients to best take advantage of all the tools that you guys have?
Sure. So one of the benefits with working with a brand like Dial800 is the 25-year track record, right? And so we've literally helped thousands of brands track their campaign performance through all different media types for all different types of products. And with that, we've also acquired a ton of agency partners, right? So people come to us all the time. I'm working with a new client literally this week who's got a campaign running on Monday and they don't have a professional to do the recordings. Well, we had 3 or 4 to choose from. I made some introductions and let them pick out the best one.
Yep.
Um, we have other clients that didn't quite assume the close on their advertisement. They projected, 100 calls an hour, and all of a sudden it's 200, hey, Dial800, do you guys have any call centers that we can work with? We have them up and running in a half hour. Things like that are where we can really add value. The software is what it is. It shows all the data, everything you need to help understand how your campaign performed, but all those extra things that go into an advertisement and getting that consumer to converge, or getting that consumer to a conversion, we can help with all of those different aspects as well.
Love it. Cool, man. Well, I want to say thank you for your time. I feel like you and I have talked about this a few times, and I'm sure we could go on for a whole lot longer. But
Yeah.
Ches, where can people find you if they want to learn more?
Sure. So dial800.com, all of our information is in there. Great resource page, constantly blogging about all different aspects of call tracking and where it can be implemented. Plenty of examples, financial clients that are doing TV commercials, which one's making the phone ring most, and so forth. Lots of blogs about that stuff. But yeah, website would probably be the best place.
Cool. All right, Ches, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Pleasure's all mine, Dan. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, be well.
Into you.